Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me. Um, Today I'll be doing a reaction to the Sumeru preview teaser trailer number 2 of Rain and Sand. So thank you for joining me. Let's get started. So already you can see it's very lush, and then we can see some native buildings and structures as well. These remind me of very high society of the high elves. That's rainforests with the fungus, luminous fungus.
须弥与以往的大版本不太一样，它含有雨林和沙漠两大部分。在设计过程中要注意的地方非常多，主要体现的是当地特色、核心主题以及幻想处理这三部分。雨林部分的风貌给人的感受就是山峦连绵的感觉，区别于璃月的柱状形式、稻期的横切硬朗。须弥的山石更加符合热带湿润的地区特征。这种偏柔性轮廓的山石结合古代巨树，贯穿在整个地块。植被方面，我们找了非常多当地特色的植被做参考，主要体现的是鲜活、生命力、湿润感以及热带特征。沙漠有沙漠风暴、绿洲、渴望水的植被，被风沙侵蚀的岩石，巨大、神性、具有历史感的遗迹。整体的设计既表现雨林和沙漠的自然魅力，又揉进了很多幻想元素。我们一直在尝试设计的边界感，我们不想做非常现实的设计，也不能过多的放飞，需要做好异国风情、幻想度以及真实感之间的平衡。各个区域的主视觉同样非常重要，须弥的世界设定本身给视觉的多样性提供了非常好的支持，有各种各样奇幻的内容。这些内容根据玩家的游玩体验以及美术逻辑安放在各个区域，这样玩家的视觉感受和情绪变化都会更舒适一些，整体的游戏体验也会更好。
玩家初到这片奇幻森林，会发现一座建立在巨树上的城市。在这片被草神护佑着的国度，你会遇见一群可爱的小精灵。小精灵可是只有小朋友才可以发现它们哦，需要你帮他们解决一系列隐藏在森林深处的危机，才可以获得他们的信任。在这个过程中，你会发现非常多的未知区域，有长满参天巨树且常年下雨的森林，有因为未知原因导致衰败的森林，也有巨大的伞状发光植物形成的特殊生态区域。在另一片森林中，你还会发现一个巨大的机器人残骸依靠在山体崖壁之间。在这些奇幻森林的背后，似乎正在被一股神秘的力量侵蚀着。从须弥城向西望去，可以隐约看到须弥的沙漠区域。在这里，你会发现颠倒浮空的神秘遗迹和冲破天际的龙卷风。在看似一望无际的沙漠下面，同样隐藏着非常多的探索区域。沙漠深处也有一个巨大的机器人，那这个机器人和森林的机器人又有什么关系呢？森林的神秘力量又来自哪里呢？就请旅行者去探索发现真相吧。
Okay, so that's the end of the trailer, but let's go back. I want to talk about some stuff. So first things first is this is very reminiscent of high elf society. What do I mean? I mean it's the curvature of the structures, the way that you got these long white pillars and then it kind of curves out. It kind of reminds me of something from Lord of the Rings, which is kind of I guess it's relevant. I mean, we are in a fantasy world and we do know there are something like elves. I mean, Clea herself has these really long ears, these really long pointy ears. They don't point up, they point down. But we do know there are different species of humanoids. What I really love is how lush everything is in this rainforest. It's almost a bit too complex. I mean, there's so many sections as well with the darker areas of the forest and these fungus regions as well.
须弥与以往的大版本不太，以璃月的柱状形式、
I love how he mentions that the mountains and everything are not designed to be the same as Inazuma Ryue or Mondstadt. Is designed with its own tone of being much softer, the contours of the lines of the rocks, the structures themselves, and how they kind of fit it in with the rainforest.
道期的横切硬朗，须弥的山石更加符合热带湿润的地区特征。这种偏柔性轮廓的山石，结合古代巨风暴、绿洲。
We've got the desert region again. The desert region is not something I would say is common in the Middle East, because I mean maybe in areas like Afghanistan where the Silk Road is. From what I've seen in movies, there are rock formations like this within the deserts, and then you have sometimes water running in between due to the higher mountains and their melting snow. And we've got the oasis here that's then covered by the shadow of the mountain rock structures.
渴望水的植被，被风沙侵蚀的岩石，巨大、神性、具有历史感的遗迹。
And then here we've got the Egyptian culture. So we've got the Anubis-like creatures here. So it means either they worship these beings as gods, so they're local gods, but are they fallen gods? Because we know now we have Statue of the Seven, and then technically our 7 gods remaining are these ancient gods or these ancient guardians of the Sumeru god. Then we've got an obelisk here, which is one of those structures that are, Egyptian, and they have
整体的设计既表现雨林和沙漠的自然魅力。
I have to admit, then there's this pyramid structure here. Here we've got the pyro puzzle piece, but this is under the desert as well. It seems that there's a big giant structure.
又揉进了很多幻想元素。
This is what I mean by Egyptian. So these are kind of similar color schemes, I guess, used for hieroglyphs.
我们一直在尝试设计的边界感，我们不想做非常现实的设计，也不能过多的放飞
What I really like
这
is
个区域的。
I love this giant tree, and there's another tree here, and then well, because they've died or something, they just built this giant gate in the middle for this port. I wonder if this is connected to the main city. It'd be quite interesting to see if it is. It was also very reminiscent of Lord of the Rings, that first bit of the movie where they leave the elf village and they're traveling by boat and they're trying to get to Gondor or something. And they pass through these 2 giant king statues that basically kind of like marks path through the river. And then also there's the Hokage statue and the Madara statue that's also protecting a waterfall in Naruto as well.
主视觉同样非常重要。
What I like as well is that there seems to be a separation between class. Well, I wouldn't say classes, but I guess you could say class at the same time. But there's like people have created abodes outside of this gate here, and then from behind this gate we can see it's more high society. There's more nicer buildings made of stone and plaster rather than just wood and leaves. The dress is also more, I would say, designed to be more common. Though this lady here looks too much like all the other old ladies in the game. I hope they change this up. Maybe this is just a test character that they put it in.
世界设定本身给视觉的多样性提供了非常好。
Again, what I mean by elf is like that the way that they use the curves. I mean, this is probably Indian and Arabic like fused together. But then again, I'm not too much of an expert on that subject, so I can't really say anything. We see some sort of script at the bottom, but I don't know if this is supposed to symbolize the what do you call it? The elements, or if this is actually Sumeran script that we're going to have to see inside. I mean, it's a base of knowledge, so
有各种各样。
and again, this is what I mean by very elf. But again, it could be just me. But the way that this is like built into the tree, and the way that the white is used and these curves accentuated the building, and in these way that the gold is also used as well, is very, it's very, what do you call it? Rivendell, I guess.
喜欢的内容，这些内容根据玩家的游玩体验以及美术，整体的游戏体验也会更好。
But one thing I want to talk about is this robot. It's a very giant robot. We can tell from the scale of the trees and also the mountain. But what I want to know is, can we enter this robot? See, there's this opening in its arm, and there's a pile of gears and dirt that's built up between it. So I wonder if we can enter it. Is this like some sort of dungeon, mini dungeon domain, or what kind of treasures is it?
是一些，整体的游戏体验也会更好。
奇幻森林
Also, like how she says that basically the first thing we'll see when we enter is kind of similar to how we see Wangshu Inn in Liyue. We see this giant tree and then there's a building on top of it, and it's just an inn. But here we're going to see a much larger tree. I'm assuming it's a much larger tree. Very large, I'm assuming, because it's got a city on top of it.
会发现一座建立
And I love how here they've created this city around this tree. I mean, here the root is used as the bridge. There's a port here. The thing I'm more worried about is this waterfall. Whether these boats ever go over the edge. So I'm hoping that they built some sort of barrier here.
在巨树上的城市，
And we can see here we've got the outer society buildings here that mark out this. So here look, we've got people. This is the gate I was talking about. So here we've got the smaller villages centered around it, kind of similar how to with Inazuma. We've got the lower buildings in the city, and as you're going up the city, the buildings get nicer and nicer. And then it gets more kind of like integrated into the way that the city works.
在这片被草神护佑着的国度，你会遇见一群可爱的小精。
There's little habitual targets, so I'm assuming this is a challenge area. So we've got these spirits. So I'm wondering if they're like seedy spirits or if they're just their own unique spirits that give us a new type of challenge.
精灵
I mean, those look like mini tarots. So I wonder what the scale is as well. What's going to make us feel like? Are we going to feel like a giant or are we going to feel really small?
小精灵可是只有小朋友才可以发现它们哦，需要你帮他们解决一系列隐藏在森信任。
I mean, the way that these are designed as well, quite interesting.
在这个过程中，你会发现非常多的未知区域，有长满参天巨树且常年下雨的森林，有因为未知原因。
I want to know if this withered area will ever be revitalized, as in like when we finish any our conquest that's linked to why this is withering. Would it somehow start to show new life? And if it does, I wonder how they're going to do that. Are they going to slowly incorporate it, or is it going to be like a sudden cutscene showing all the greenery become green and very lush rather than dying, fading?
导致衰败的森林，也有巨大的伞状。
And we can see that the regions are, even though the pictures show us that these incredible regions, I'm hoping it's not too large because it's going to be a lot of exploring.
发光植物形成的特殊生态区域，在另一片森林中，你还会发现一个巨大的。
We've got this giant gear. I'm wondering if these are cables rather than roots.
机器人残骸依靠在山体崖壁之间，在这些几乎正在被一股神秘的力量侵蚀着。 从须弥城向西
Again,
望，
this is what I mean, but this guy's got a blue ear, so I wonder if he's a different species. So you know how we've got Klee, who's kind of elvish, and we've got Yangfei, who's a Deptai-ish, and she's got like a horn growing out of her side of her head. And then we know that we've got like the beast folk, for example. We've got Goro and we've got Sucrose. So it makes me wonder if this guy is some sort of different species as well.
上去，
And then we can see the pyramid from the city. So most of these are actually in line of sight. So yeah, from this to here, maybe about the distance from Mondstadt to Dragonspan.
可以隐约看到须弥的沙漠区域。
Is this a Hidachal village or is this some sort of border? I mean, we've got this kind of like Hidachal. I say Hidachal, but I have no idea if it is. It could be Sumeru, like native Sumeru. And then we've got like a high society pillar here. And I'm assuming we can go underneath the desert here. This looks like an entry point.
在这里，你会发现颠倒浮空的神秘遗
No
迹
idea what this is going
和
to
冲
be.
破天际的
It's
龙
just
卷
going to
风
be，key to the whole
在看似一
story
望
and
无际的
it's
沙漠
all
下面，
the,
同样隐藏着非常多的探索区域。
And again, like I said, this is an opening in the arm, and it looks like we can go in. I have no idea if we can. These robots as well are
沙
going
漠
to
深
be
处也有一
very
个巨
key
大的
to
机器人，
the
那这个机器人和森林的机器人又有什么关系呢？ 森林的神秘力量又来自哪里呢？就请旅行
And I gotta say that Ayaka definitely has some sort of special place for the Miho stuff.
者去探索发现真相吧。
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my reaction, and I hope you enjoyed my analysis on what I've had to discuss. If you are new to this channel, please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, please leave them below. I'm personally looking forward to playing Sumeru, but I'm hoping that they would take their time
这样玩家的
in
视觉
releasing it. So with like in Azuma, for example, we got the free islands first, and it guided us through it. We're using the Archon quest, and then as they released the next part of the Archon quest, they released Watasumi. And so hopefully we'll see the slow release of the regions to give themselves more time to master up on the quality that they're going to be happy with releasing. I mean, with Genshin as a whole, we've seen bugs, but we've seen very few bugs. There's no major bugs. We do have gameplay bugs with some characters' skills, for example, when they're released. I mean, they've recently had Hazo's compensation of 100 Primogems because apparently there's something wrong with his skill. I've not yet got Hazo, so I don't know. But then we see that there are bugs that they do fix. Sometimes they fix really large bugs or complicated bugs in the next patches. So we'll have to see. But generally, the game is always playable when it's patched up and released. So that's something that I actually really like about the game. And because of the game itself, it's not something simple. It's not just a gacha game that you play with 2D pixel art and the characters are designed using just 2D pixels. We're seeing an entire 3D render of not just characters but in total environments, and this is entirely explorable environments. And then with whole voice acted characters, cutscenes that are completely rendered to make us sometimes speechless, especially with the new ones that we've seen with the Chasm, for example. And then we've got not the in-game cutscenes, but we've got special cutscenes that are made using the art style as well. Like with the Harbinger teaser trailer we've seen recently, we've also seen the Berserk's cutscene as well. So there's a lot that they're doing to kind of give us more that we can enjoy. And so I would rather they take time in releasing it. I mean, I'm expecting this to be released in August, but if they delay it, then like kind of how they delayed the patch 2.7 so that we can enjoy the Chasm more. I was actually happy with that. I didn't mind that. So if they have to do that, I'm more than happy to just let them do that. These houses are very interesting as well. I didn't notice them earlier, but they're dangling from branches. So they're not like the tree houses we saw later on in the trailer, but these are dangling from the actual house branch themselves. So there's no way to climb in from the looks of it. But yeah, anyway, thank you for joining me for this reaction and analysis and discussion. Hopefully we'll see how this gets released. Oh, something I forgot to mention is the music. One of the main reasons we play Genshin Impact for some people is just to enjoy the music. And from this trailer,
给人的感受就是山峦连绵的感觉，区别于明月的柱状。
It's very reminiscent again of Elves, Lord of the Rings. It's got this whole nature to it. It's very just one single wind instrument kind of recreating this entire feeling that we're feeling as we're being shown Sumeru. And we know that MiHoYo does not skimp out on the music. The music is one of the best selling parts of the game, and they're offering that for free for most of the time on YouTube. You can find the entire OST on there, for example, or go to Hoyo Lab and you can find the entire OST on there as well. So I'm very glad that they do that. I can't wait. If you're new to this channel, please like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. They'll help me get monetized. I'm very looking forward to seeing what happens once I've reached the monetization requirements. Thank you for joining me and have a good day. Bye bye.